Hello guys, it's me again, the Kaguni guy. Today we're diving deep into the world of Ghoul RE to break down every single Quinque in the game, from absolute garbage to the ultimate god tier weapons. Whether you're a new player wondering which weapon to use or a seasoned veteran looking for the absolute best choice, this guide has got you covered. We're not just slapping names into a tier list, we're breaking them down one by one, analyzing their damage output, combo potential, mobility, and overall viability. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which Quinques to use and which ones belong in the trash can. I didn't mention it in the previous video, but as you realize, I'm new to the game. So this tier list is not from my experience. This is the tier list I presented to you as a result of my research. I will leave the link to the description. We'll start from the C tier, where the weakest Quinques struggle to keep up, then work our way up through B and A tier, and finally we'll crown the best Quinques in the game at S tier. Get ready because this is going to be a complete Quinque ranking, and by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of the best weapons in the game. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the worst of the worst. But before we continue, if you like the video, don't forget to click a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Alright, let's get real for a second. If you're stuck using a C tier Quinque, you're either a complete newcomer to the game, haven't re-rolled for better options, or you're just someone who enjoys inflicting pain upon yourself. These weapons are painfully slow, weak, and utterly outclassed by better alternatives. Sure, they can get the job done when fighting NPCs or low-level enemies, but as soon as you face a competent player, you're essentially waving the white flag. You'll be begging for mercy. Yukimura. Let's start with the worst of the bunch. This Quinque is a relic from the past. It feels ancient, clunky, and its mechanics are outdated. The weapon is stuck in an era where people didn't know what good design looked like. It has neither decent range nor satisfying damage output, making it a nightmare in combat. The idea behind it seems to be a defensive playstyle, but honestly, who would want to play a defensive, slow, and frustrating character when you could be using something faster, stronger, and more effective? Sure, it's serviceable in certain situations, but it's never going to shine. Scorpion. If we're talking about a cool name with terrible execution, then Scorpion is the perfect example. While it might sound menacing, it's a slow, underwhelming weapon that doesn't really do anything particularly well. The damage scaling is weak, meaning it'll take forever to whittle down enemies, and the lack of utility in fights makes it a poor choice. Even against lower tier enemies, it struggles to deal with them efficiently. The weapon needs more than just a flashy name to make it useful. Kajiri. If you want a Quinque that's as bland as a plain toast, Kajiri is your go-to. It's not terrible, but it's certainly not great either. The weapon feels like it's trying to be a jack of all trades, but ends up being a master of none. There's nothing particularly unique or interesting about it, and its attacks are just bland. Other Quinques in the game can do everything Kajiri does, but better. It's just not worth your time unless you're really desperate. Dojima. Dojima is a Quinque for players who enjoy sluggish, unresponsive combat. The animations are painfully slow, the damage output is laughable, and it feels as though your character is fighting through molasses. It lacks the speed and precision that other weapons in the same tier might offer, and it's just not fun to use. When the combat is this slow and clunky, it completely ruins the experience, and you'll find yourself frustrated more often than not. Bokusatsu. Now, this one might stir some controversy, but hear me out. Bokusatsu is overrated. Sure, it boasts decent range and speed, but its damage output is simply too low compared to other better weapons in the game. It does have some niche uses, particularly for players who are good at timing and positioning, but overall, it feels like a letdown. When you compare it to the other Quinques in the game, it falls short, and it doesn't really provide the thrill that top-tier weapons do. If you're stuck with one of these Quinques, then it's time to start grinding for better gear. You don't want to stay in this tier for long. Now we're getting to a point where things start to get a bit better. B-tier Quinques aren't terrible, but they don't exactly stand out either. They're reliable and functional, but they won't win you any awards. You might find success using them, but against top-tier players, you'll definitely struggle to keep up. Serrate is the definition of meh. It's balanced, it gets the job done, but it's nothing to write home about. It doesn't excel in any particular area, but it doesn't fail terribly either. It's a solid choice for beginners who are still learning the ropes and want something consistent. However, once you get the hang of the game, you'll quickly realize that this weapon lacks the extra power or utility to keep up with higher tier options. Qixi. If you're someone who values speed and precision, Qixi might seem like a decent pick. It offers a decent balance of these attributes, but it struggles when it comes to raw damage output. You can rely on it for quick strikes and precise hits, but when it comes to dealing heavy damage, it simply doesn't measure up. It's a fine weapon for certain situations, but it doesn't hold its ground against more powerful Quinques in the game. Nutcracker. If you love crowd control and fighting against hordes of NPCs, Nutcracker is a weapon that can get the job done. It's solid in PvE scenarios, where dealing with large groups is key. However, in PvP, it falls behind due to its lack of versatility and the inability to match the damage output and speed of higher tier Quinques. It's good for players who enjoy PvE more, but it's not the best weapon for player versus player combat. Demon Yamada is an interesting case. Some players might argue that it belongs in C tier, but the truth is it has a decent combination of strong attack patterns. It's fun to use and can be surprisingly effective in the hands of someone who knows how to wield it, but unfortunately, it's not a competitive weapon. It has its uses, but against players who know what they're doing, it's just not gonna cut it. B tier Quinques are great for players who are still getting the hang of things or who prefer a more balanced experience. They're not bad by any means, but if you're aiming for dominance, it's time to aim higher. Alright, now we're getting into the real powerhouses. A tier Quinques are powerful, reliable, and capable of holding their own in most situations. They're not invincible, but in the right hands, they're more than capable of causing havoc. They're solid choices, but the absolute best weapons still remain in the next tier. 13's Jason. If you're looking for a Quinque with insane combo potential, then Jason is the one you should be aiming for. It requires skill to master, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes a nightmare for your opponents. The amount of combo possibilities with this weapon is ridiculous, and if you can chain them together smoothly, you'll devastate anyone in your path. It's not beginner friendly, but for players who are skilled, it's a rewarding and deadly weapon. AUS is the kind of weapon that offers great versatility. It has excellent range, high speed, and is reliable in PvP scenarios. It's one of those Quinques that will do well in almost any situation. It's not the flashiest weapon, but it's definitely one you can count on when things get tough. If you want something that works in most scenarios without any surprises, AUS is a safe bet. Quai is one of the most well-balanced Quinques in the game. It strikes the perfect balance between speed and damage, which makes it a deadly weapon in the right hands. Its versatility makes it great for a variety of playstyles, and it's capable of taking down opponents quickly while maintaining a level of control. It's a solid choice for players who want a reliable weapon that doesn't lack in any department. Narukami is an absolute beast in PvE, capable of mowing down waves of enemies with ease. But it's not just a PvE powerhouse. It can hold its own in PvP as well, though not quite as well as the top tier options. If you love grinding through enemies and you need something that can keep up with that playstyle, Narukami is a fantastic choice. It may not be perfect for PvP, but it's definitely one of the strongest choices for PvE content. And now we arrive at the holy grail of Quinques. The S-tier weapons are the absolute best of the best. Unstoppable forces that will have you dominating the battlefield. If you're fortunate enough to own one of these, you're already ahead of most players, and your chances of success just skyrocketed. These weapons are deadly in the hands of any player, and they're a must-have for those who want to take their gameplay to the next level. SSS Albuel. This is the king of Quinques. It offers insane damage, unmatched mobility, and attacks that will leave your enemies trembling in fear. There's no question about it. SSS Albuel is the absolute #1 choice. If you want to dominate in every aspect of the game, this Quinque will help you do just that. Its power is undeniable, and its speed makes it a nightmare for any opponent. Solace is the perfect combination of balance and power. It's incredibly fast, has great damage potential, and its combo potential is off the charts. It's the kind of Quinque that gives you everything you need to succeed: speed, power, and versatility. Whether you're looking to dominate in PvP or PvE, Solace can do it all. It's a must-have weapon for anyone serious about the game. Ginkui. If you love speed and precision, Ginkui is your perfect weapon. Its moveset is one of the best in the game, allowing for fast, precise attacks that will tear through enemies. It's a weapon that rewards players who value agility and finesse in their combat style. If you're the type of player who prefers quick strikes and outmaneuvering your opponents, Ginkui is the weapon you need. Ixa is a long-range powerhouse. It lets you keep enemies at bay while dealing devastating damage from afar. If you prefer a more strategic ranged playstyle, Ixa is your weapon of choice. Its ability to control space and deliver heavy hits makes it one of the most dangerous Quinques in the game. Whether you're looking to snipe from a distance or hold off attackers, Ixa does it with style. And that's the complete Quinque tier list for Ghoul RE. If you have an S tier Quinque, congratulations, you're already ahead of the competition. But if you're stuck with a C tier weapon, well, you might want to start grinding. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with my rankings? Did I miss any Quinques that deserve a higher or lower spot? Let's discuss it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on future Ghoul RE content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.